So we must do two things, two great things together, to encompass that enormous new view that lies before us, but to encompass it within the framework of science, to see it within the whole categorical framework of science, and to see that these two are not separate, but that they are wedded. The bigness of the idea, the newness of the idea, the greatness of it is one with the structure of science, the structure of being itself.
So could you hear that we went right down that vertical, and then we picked up the whole of the word order, actually, and you notice that we said that what comes with the nature is the operation. What comes with the 7 is the 4. So that actually the 4 are always there. They've always been there. We're not adding something to the model of being. We're only seeing what is already there, implied there. And apparently that's what John Dorley caught. He caught that implication right in those early years, really before the further framework was seen. So it's unbelievable. Can't believe it. It's got to be understood. And so now we have that gorgeous opportunity to see what happens when that whole law of life and life, truth, and love brings in the word order, but gives to that word order a touch of the Christ, a touch of Christianity, a touch of science. That's what it comes in with. That's what the order comes in with. It has it already. So we are going to see what is there already in that great self-declaration of being, making itself known. So we come to the word as the word, because we see that if that word order is patterned by the calculus, by the 4, that it must have those 4 aspects within itself. Therefore, there must be a word as the word, and a word as the Christ, and a word as Christianity, and a word as science. So we look at that whole issue of the word as the word, and John Dorley could begin to feel in the whole order that there were certain elements that would present a word aspect as a subtone. Certain elements that would bring into every order the tonality of there being a creative basis in the order, in that order. That then there would be a shift, a change, and other elements would take on the accentuation of expressing the Christ subtone, namely that within the order is the ability to take its own creative elements and to reorganize them, to self-organize, you see, to self-organize, reorganize, restructure, rework, calculate with the basis. That's the Christ. That's the Christ selfhood. The Christ able to bring out the selfhood of the self. The Christ processing that self, that creative basis. And then he could see that in every order would be a tone of the outcome of that activity, of the Christ working with the whole basic elements of the order, to bring out what? A demonstration, a pure demonstration, so that the demonstration never leaves the order. It doesn't leave the whole quality of the order. It belongs to the order. It is the order. It's a pure demonstration of itself, of the self, of the selfhood of the Christ. And then he saw that in every order was a final tone, a tone that lifted the whole thing back to its isness value, as though it were turning around to go right back to the infinite individuality of life in the Word, or to go right back to the infinite one truth in the Christ. You see a coming back, a tending back up, ascending back up to the pure scientific tone of divine science itself. And so in every order is that touch of science, science which takes those elements from the order that express the beingness of the whole issue, the God beingness of it. Okay? So we begin with that self-declaration. And we see that at the point of the word then, at the point of the word as the word, the creative basis of the word is in question. What is the creative basis of the word? Mr. Dorley could see that that creative basis is brought out through mind, spirit, and soul. We spoke last night about the need to go back and forth between our languages of the 6,000 and 7,000 year period, because just to say mind, spirit, and soul would not have enough truth content to it at this time for us all to be able to communicate in that language. And so, in order to know what we mean by mind, spirit, and soul, we have to fall back on the ideational or scientific metaphysical realm of the 6,000 year period. And so we bring in those ideas that will help us to understand what mind, spirit, and soul means. All right, so let's go back to mind, spirit, and soul now, and just let's see how we can define that from our highest sense of scientific metaphysical ideas. Here we have the initial order for the correct statement about anything, the initial order for the enlightenment of any question, the initial order for the correcting or clarifying of anything that isn't clear within consciousness. You see, it's a great problem-solving order. Problem-solving is creativity. Oh, isn't that encouraging? Oh, I'm so creative. Working out so many problems, I must be terrifically creative. And we are, if we take up this order. So it begins with mind, spirit, and soul, as though to say the allness, that mind is the allness of everything, that mind is all, that there is only one mind. Is exactly what the textbook tells us, teaches us over and over and over again, Mrs. Eddy's great contribution in the textbook. Mind is all. There is only one mind. We have to start with the divine mind. Turn away from mortal mind. That's what is said right at this point. So to say, that's where everything begins. That's where the answer to everything begins. That's where the clarification of everything begins. That there is nothing going on, nothing that has reality, but the infinite light of that primordial self-conception of the one mind. Nothing is going on but mind conceiving of mind, mind knowing mind. That primordial conception of the one mind. So I have am building up a round sense. I already feel touched by that. I already feel the atmosphere is changed by that. The moment you see, implied in that, way down the line is drop the human mind, drop the standpoint of another mind, turn away from the other mind, seek the one mind, desire the one mind, begin with mind. All of that is implied in that primordial conception of the one mind, that there is only one mind, that I accept that there is only one mind, that I take up that one mind. That primordial conception being the infinite light of mind. You see how the infinite light of the infinite individuality of life as the one being breaks in on my consciousness as the infinite light of mind, primordial conception of mind, which all the way down here implies let there be light. Let there be light. And I say all the way down here, I'm going across, if you think of going across your dimensional synonyms, your dimensional sense of mind, you have all that descent or that translatability, that translation, and you know that every further level is included in what has come before it, right? So that it's the infinite primordial self-conception that mind has of itself that is speaking and says, let there be light. And then I can draw all the implications from let there be light. Well, then to begin rightly, I have to begin to see what ideas are, begin to take in ideas, to welcome ideas, to see what the information of mind is, to begin to inform myself about the divine mind, to gather all the information about what mind is. You see, that's the let there be light for any problem, any solution, any creative activity. I have to entertain ideas. I really have to choose ideas. Do you hear that? Huh? To solve any problem, I have to lay off the human mind, put down the human mind, what the human mind says, all the human conceptions, all that speaking that goes on within the human consciousness that isn't the self-declaration of God. Okay.